driving the all-new Maserati Grecale. Woohoo! What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm so excited to share with you what we are filming today. Before I get into it, I have something really cool for 20 special people. Listen, I've blown up a lot of businesses' social media pages just like these guys, and I'm giving away all my secrets to exactly how I accumulated millions and millions of views for them to the first 20 people who smash the link below. So what are you waiting for? Let's go get some views and let's go make some money. Boom! Maserati, a brand that has performance, luxury, and prestigiousness. Or at least they used to. You see, lately Maserati has kind of lost their DNA. But I think they just found it again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Maserati Grecale Trofeo. And today, we are going to drive it. 523 horsepower is no joke. I don't care who you are, that is a lot of power.
Damn. What's in this thing?
So this is the same motor from the MC20 supercar that they have, just detuned a little bit. Handling. Is phenomenal. It's got this adaptive suspension button on the steering wheel under the drive modes that you could switch between normal, sport, and H, which I guess is just straight up handling mode. And what that does is stiffens the suspension to give you better handling around the corners. I love the size of the steering wheel. It's got very good turn-in. Man, that sound is incredible.
Those upshifts are nasty.
I love the fact that the paddles are mounted to the steering wheel and they're nice and long. It's got those big bunny ear shifters. I know where the paddles are any time that I'm turning the wheel.
Jesus, what is it, an 8-speed?
8. But here's the problem. When you're not getting on it, it kind of drives very timid.
Yeah, like right now.
Even, I'll put it in sport mode, which a lot of these owners will be driving. You don't really hear a lot coming out the back. The car is kind of stiff. I can turn that off though. And even in just normal sport mode, the car is just a luxury car, which if you're buying it for that reason, awesome. But to really get the most out of this car, you need to put in the most aggressive setting, which turns off a lot of the nannies that honestly you kind of want. Let's talk about what it competes with. It competes with an X3M competition, Porsche Macan GTS, Alpha Quadrifoglio, and maybe GLC 63 and the SQ5, although in my mind those cars aren't really at this level. A Macan GTS, a well-equipped Macan GTS, is about 98 grand. An X3M is around 85 to 90.
Yeah.
And an SQ5 is like 70,
Yeah,
80.
those are cheaper.
This car starts at 111.
Oh.
It is a bigger car though. It's slightly bigger. This car kind of sits in between that small SUV to large SUV. Like, it's not quite the size of, like, say, a GLE 63 or a Cayenne, but it's not as small as a Macan.
I feel like it's bigger than it looks.
It is bigger than it looks.
It is way bigger than it looks.
It is really roomy in here.
Yeah.
I mean, low-key, I feel like I'm in my Mercedes GLE with this car.
Alright, it might be worth it.
And it's so smooth too. But is it $120,000?
go.
And I think they did a fantastic job developing this car.
Like blindfolded me and told me like to guess what car it is. I wouldn't guess Maserati.
What would you guess?
Screen and everything. This whole setup right here is super Audi, like A6.
Yeah,
A7.
so I'll be honest. I have not been a fan of the past 4 Maseratis I drove. I was
What are they?
utterly disappointed. It was the Levante, Ghibli, and 2 different Quattroportes. Honestly, I was very underwhelmed by those cars.
Wow.
You get in the interior, it wasn't the best. You get the sound of a Maserati, which has a lot. But other than that, I was very underwhelmed, especially for the price of the car. And I think Maserati really took their time and studied their competition.
Yeah. You can
Before
tell they
designing
listened to
this car.
people with this car. Like they really listened to the feedback. that
The
they got.
interior quality is incredible
Yeah.
on this. Absolutely incredible. The steering wheel feels amazing. The leather feels amazing. But again, I'm kind of at this crossroad of, listen, this car is $120,000 as tested. And the competition is also very impressive. Are you going to spend the extra money and spend over $100 grand on what's considered a smaller SUV to get this? Or is the Porsche Macan GTS and the X3M competition and the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio better choices for less money? Did they overdevelop this car? And because they overdeveloped it, you're now paying the price.
That felt good.
But man, does this car sound amazing. And it's a little bit bigger. So it's a little bit bigger, and it has the most horsepower out of all the competition.
How much horsepower?
523.
Wow.
Toss into a corner. Can we talk about how quick this transmission is?
Yeah.
It
Ooh.
has no business being this fast.
Dude, I love it. It's insane.
Look.
Are those shift lights?
It is shift lights.
Oh, that's so cool.
The Maserati Grecale shifts faster than any other SUV I have ever driven.
Can you see our like
wild.
bodies moving on every shift?
It is wild.
It moves you.
Wild. The 2 starting trims, you get a turbo 4-cylinder with a lot less horsepower. It's
This is a huge step up then.
This is a huge step up. I haven't driven those 2 cars, but I don't know how I would feel driving them. Toss into a corner. Handling is just incredible. You toss into a corner and just sticks.
She feels planted, man.
Coupled with this amazing 8-speed transmission and the adaptive suspension, you could have a lot of fun with this. A lot. Good job, Maserati. You built a fantastic car. The heart of this Italian beast is a motor that's shared with the supercar MC20. It's a twin-turbo V6 making 523 horsepower, and it sounds incredible. But before we talk about the inside of the Maserati, I want to talk about how you get inside the Maserati. Now, normally in cars you have a door handle of some sort, but not here. You realize there's a little hole that you place your finger into, and then there's a button. Watching your face, bro. But before we get inside of the Maserati, we have to talk about how you get inside the Maserati. Now, in most cars, you have a door handle of some sort, but not here. In the Maserati, you have a little hole that you stick your finger into the hole, and there's a button that you squeeze to open the door. To lock the car, there's a little thing right here. You place your finger in the hole, and the car locks. The new Maserati Grecale is actually a pretty good looking car. It has all the right proportions that you would want in a sexy small SUV. Personally, I'm not really sold on the headlights. I think it's kind of bubbly, but if you like that look, then this car is for you. I do, however, love the proportions of this car. It's got the right roofline, it's got the right size in the back, and compared to the X3M and the Porsche, it's actually a little bit bigger and a little bit longer. So you have more room in this car than you would in others. The wheels on this car are absolutely gorgeous. They're two-tone wheels with red brake calipers thanks to the Trofeo package. And with the Trofeo package, you also get a badge that says Trofeo, and your Maserati badge has red in it. That's the way you're going to be able to tell if a Grecale is a Trofeo or a normal GT versus Modena. The interior of this Maserati is beyond beautiful. I have to admit, I've been very disappointed with the latest Maserati products, with the Ghibli and the Quattroporte. All of those cars for the price tag felt meh. The qualities were meh. But this is a nice place to be. You're surrounded by the softest leather, the nicest carbon fiber, and beautiful red stitching. Even the key has a premium feel to it, wrapped in leather and aluminum. The key feels very premium, even compared to my Mercedes-Benz key that I have. Next, you'll notice that there are two massive screens, something brand new for Maserati. The one up here controls your navigation and your media and your vehicle. The one down here, while there may be a lot of buttons at first, it controls your climate, your seats, and for some weird reason, your headlights. I'm not really sure why Maserati put your headlight controls on a screen, but if you need them, they're there. However, one very concerning thing about this screen is the speed. Now, the speed from going to panel is not bad. There's a little bit of a lag. However, I have no idea how this passed Maserati, and that is the backup camera. This backup camera is so laggy. Next, to change your gear selector, normal cars have a gear selector here or something on the steering wheel, or even a lot of Italian cars who use the paddle shifters. But Maserati has buttons. You have park, reverse, neutral, drive, and manual mode. And while it's a good idea in theory, the buttons are not that fast. It takes kind of a little bit of push. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I was making a quick U-turn earlier today, and I tried clicking the drive, and it wouldn't go into drive and threw into reverse. I'm not a big fan of this. I'd rather have a gear selector over here and lose some storage space than to have buttons as my gear selector. It just doesn't feel premium enough. But the storage in this car is phenomenal. You get a wireless charging pad over here, two giant cup holders, more storage down here, a pretty decent size center console, a nice big glove box. So there's ample storage in this car. But this steering wheel feels incredible. It's the perfect size. It's got a nice flat bottom to it. It contours your hands perfectly. And connected to the column, not the steering wheel, is the most beautiful paddle shifters ever put on a car. They're long, they're aluminum, they make a nice clickety-clack noise, and you can click them in any gear that you want. I really like the feel of these paddle shifters, and they add to the experience of this car. But my favorite part about this interior has to be the clock. Now, at first glance, this is just a digital clock. However, there's a button down here. If I click on clock, I can actually change this clock to anything I want. It could be a clock, or a compass, or a G-force meter, or my favorite, it'll show me how much power and brake I'm using. Cool little feature. Not really sure why you would need it, but it's cool to have. Also on the steering wheel, you're going to find this right here, your drive mode selector. And when you turn it, it changes all your different drive modes. So you have off-road, in case you ever want to go off-roading in your Maserati. You have comfort for long road trips. It's going to soften up the suspension. Then GT mode, it's a mixture between comfort and sport. Then you have sport mode. And then you have Corsa, the most aggressive mode in this car. It's going to turn off stability control, it's going to turn off traction control, and it makes the car sound like this. Right in the middle of your drive mode selector, you have a little button that looks like a shock absorber. And what that button does, it changes how much dampening and how hard your suspension performs in each different mode. For example, I could be in sport mode, but if I want the car to not ride so hard, I could actually click that button and it's going to dampen my shocks more so that the car is less aggressive even while the engine is in sport mode. I like that Maserati gives you the ability to do this because I don't always want to feel every bump even when I want to go fast. Now next to that, you'll actually notice that your push start stop button to turn on the engine is not in a typical place. Normally you find it between the steering wheel and the screen, but that's not the case in this car. They actually place it on the right hand of the steering wheel, and it's right where your left thumb would be. It adds to the experience of having the Maserati, and I like it a lot. Next, you're going to notice there's a massive LED screen right in front of you. And this is fully customizable to show you anything you want. You could put your map here, your media here. When you put it in Corsa mode, you actually get a nice big tachometer right in the middle. I really like that Maserati gives you the ability to customize the screen instead of just having two analog gauges. So there it is, the Maserati Grecale Trofeo. A car that's meant to compete with the best of the best. Let me ask you, do you think this is better than its competition? Would you buy this over an X3M competition or a Porsche Macan GTS? Honestly, the price tag is more than both of those cars, but I think they found something special. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see what car we're driving next week, you know exactly where to click. We better get popped.
Why are you parked right here?
Lighting is perfect.
You know, this is a walkway, not a parking lot. I know there's not a sign saying you can't drive up here. It's pretty self-explanatory.
I have something really cool for 20 special people. Listen, I've blown up a lot of businesses' social media pages just like these guys, and I'm giving away all my secrets to exactly how I accumulated millions and millions of views for them to the first 20 people who smash the link below. So what are you waiting for? Let's go get some views and let's go make some money. Boom!